Let's take it off with BlockTower. 140 million doesn't seem like a big deal, but it was the names behind it that got me kind of excited.
Yeah, I mean, it is really interesting. This is one of these headlines on the Bloomberg where you're like, okay, we have cryptocurrency, hedge fund. Like, let's just throw in Warren Buffett and Tiger Woods and make it the most read headline ever. I mean, we can't get enough of this. And yet we're starting to see, where the money is actually going. And as you mentioned in the intro, Andreessen Horowitz, Union Square. I mean, these are real venture capital firms. Obviously, they are in the business of risk to some extent, but they are putting at least some of their money, where a lot of mouths are in terms of Bitcoin.
And Andreessen Horowitz has such a track record, but it's interesting. The first time I ever read, this is true, about blockchain was Andreessen Horowitz. It was 3 or 4 years ago. They were saying, you know what, we're interested not in Bitcoin, in blockchain. We think that's going to change things.
Yeah, and I do think it's very much an evolving story, and I know that we've been, as everyone else is, following the sort of ebbs and flows of Bitcoin and pricing, but it's a really interesting point that blockchain, the underlying technology, may be what these guys are going at.
Okay, so let's talk about Bitcoin for a second, because at the same time we hear about this new fund coming out, Bank of America Merrill Lynch said, you know what, you cannot get involved in the Bitcoin Investment Trust, which is one of the only vehicles you use to invest in Bitcoin. Their advisors can't sell it. They can't even allow their customers to execute on it.
I thought that was a fascinating scoop because it really gets into how the broader market may or may not be able to access this. And clearly what we saw back in November and December was this sort of widening aperture, as it were, of people sort of being able to get in. If the broader market is not able to get in, if retail brokerages, if brokerages, I guess, in general, aren't able to get it to their customers, that starts to feel a little more bubbly.